Timcast IRL will be live in Miami with Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Luke Rudkowski. Join us there. Get your tickets by clicking the link in the description below or by going to timcast.com. I want to jump to this story from CNN. Dallas mayor switches parties to join GOP. All right. We just covered a story about a Democrat being accused of taking bribes, being corrupt. And I think for most of you who watch our show, you probably don't have a very favorable view of Democrats, nor the majority of the Republican Party. But the Democrats, I widely view as corrupt tribalists who are just career politicians who are trying to extract what they can from the system. And so here you have this guy. This is Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson responding to questions during a news conference. And there are two issues that are brought up because of this. Let me read a little bit. Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson announced Friday that he's switching parties and will serve as a Republican-affiliated mayor of the blue-leaning city. While the Dallas mayoral office is nonpartisan, Johnson previously served as a Democrat in the Texas legislature. He slammed his former party in an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal published Friday, blaming Democratic policies for exacerbated crime and homelessness. Quote, "The future of America's great urban centers depends on the willingness of the nation's mayors to champion law and order and practice fiscal conservatism. Our cities desperately need the genuine commitment to these principles, as opposed to the inconsistent poll-driven commitment of many Democrats that has long been a defining characteristic of the GOP." So to clarify, the mayoral position is not a partisan position. So they usually don't say like the mayor's affiliation, but he was a Democrat. He ran, in this style, this affiliation. Now he's saying he is going to be joining the GOP and will be Republican affiliated as mayor. The question I have is, first, if someone is in a Democrat city as a high level politician and they're going to switch to the GOP, either they're saying I'm retiring or they believe this is their path to maintaining their position and serving their constituents. Secondly, this is a black mayor in a Democrat city saying he's going to vote Republican. And we have more polling coming out from the Wall Street Journal, published in the Wall Street Journal and several other outlets showing that Trump is polling very, very well among black and Hispanic Americans. I'm wondering if this is if this is a component of this as well. If this is another individual who is polled and is outright saying no more Democrat, now we're Republican.
I have a feeling that the conditions at the border are a significant factor in why the Dallas mayor is switching sides. I can't imagine that the people of Texas, who are the most immediately affected by the border crisis, I can't see them saying, oh, it's fine. I can't see them saying, oh, it's no big deal. These people that live in Texas, like they know they have friends that are in the border region, stuff like that. I mean, granted, Texas is a big state, but still, like these people are living with it every day. And you see videos all the time of caravans of people coming to the border. I just read a piece that said 300. There was a record that 300,000 people crossed the border or were detained or apprehended, maybe is the best word. 300,000 people in 1 month. It's a record. I mean, the federal government is totally abdicated their responsibility of securing the border. The clown administration that we have put Kamala Harris in charge, and she hasn't done anything at all. They tried to deal with the dude, what's his name? Not Mendez. He was just on Capitol Hill talking to Congress, the head of Homeland Security. Either way, talking to him, there's talking about impeaching him. I think his name's Mayorkas. Maybe? Yeah, talking about impeaching him, and I don't know if anything's been done, but he has not done his job.
I think here's how I see it. There's that meme that I've brought up where it said, no one is trying to solve the problems. They're trying to get rich enough to where the problems don't affect them. And I'm like, that's a great motto for the modern Democratic Party.
Oh, yeah.
Help us get rich enough so that your problems are no longer our problems.
I wonder
like the problems affecting you won't affect us is a better way to put it.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what this means for 2024, because obviously, if you know anything about Texas and the reason why people are scared it's quote unquote going blue is two major population growths. It's in Austin and Dallas, right? And so if you're starting to see, like Tim said, is a possibility, which is he's actually maybe doing it for a political reason because he believes that the city of Dallas is going to become more right wing. I could see that translating to the rest of the country too. And I do think, you're not going to see Democrats do as well in big cities as they did in 2020 because crime, homelessness, illegal immigration, all of it's adding up. So I wonder if there's something of a new urban appeal for the Republican Party, not to obviously win a majority of any of these cities, but at least to crack. I'm sure the Democrats need a certain quota. That way they can outnumber the rural areas of a state like Texas or Georgia or even Michigan up in the Midwest, states like that. So I wonder what it means for 2024.
Yeah,
I really do.
The toxic compassion route has failed them. That's for sure. Like
Right.
bring as many people, unlimited, more people, and then all of a sudden you realize you're surrounded by homeless people that don't have food.
And it's interesting. I'm from Los Angeles. Most of the family, friends, and stuff we grew up with are Democrat, but I'm noticing a very real trend in the people I knew growing up now trending, I'd say more independent, maybe moderate, maybe some even just have flat out become Republicans because they're just seeing it's too expensive, crime, it's dangerous, homelessness everywhere. We just can't do this anymore. So, like I said, I'm not going to sell anyone here a delusion that, oh my gosh, Republicans are going to suddenly flip LA or California. But like I said, in swing states where the big city is our problem, I think a few points off of popularity for the Democrats could make the difference in one of these states, in the presidential election.
I don't know if the immigration would be as heavy as it is without the internet. I don't know if the internet's played a part in allowing this to happen or if it's just allowed us to see what's happening. Because I think if this had happened without an internet, it would be happening without us knowing. And then all of a sudden one day we'd wake up and there would be 60 million people from foreign countries in our country. We wouldn't know. And they'd already be here controlling things. Now we can kind of see it in real time and adjust and maybe help prevent a catastrophe.
Yeah.
And I think people are willing to alter their political parties at the very least if they feel like that might make a difference.
Or maybe just sit home. I think that's another issue. You talk about black turnout. I don't think Republicans are going to come close to winning a majority of the black vote, but I think a lot of these people who they normally bust to the polls and all of that in the inner cities might just say, I don't really care for this right now. You know what I mean? So I think you could see that too. Just a drop off in turnout of their base, even if it's not for us. Right.
I think that's actually what the polls show.
Yeah.
Or I should clarify. There are polls showing conservatives improving, but I think what you actually see when you look at the bigger picture is that
disaffectedness.
Support for Democrats is way down, and support for Republicans up a little bit.
Right.
So there are some people who are like, I'm going to vote for the other guy, but most people are just saying, I am not voting Democrat.
There's no fuel. There's no fuel. Like, people didn't vote for Biden; they voted against Trump. Right.
Right.
He's not the president right now. The president's Biden. So if you're feeling like life sucks right now, you got to look at President Biden and be like, he's not the guy. Anybody but him. So it may not be pro-Trump people, but they're just like you said, they might just stay home. They might not go out and vote. They're like, I can't vote for Trump, but I'm not voting for Biden again.
And think about all the people who, you probably know people like this, that say, if it's Trump versus Biden, I'm just going to leave that blank.
Yeah.
That helps Trump because Trump has a base and Biden
doesn't.
Less so. So, yeah, we'll see.
Trump not only has a base, but he has disaffected liberals.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who don't like Trump who will vote for him because Trump's personality issues and ego is nothing compared to Biden's failures with the economy, foreign policy failures, Eastern European war. These are all just apocalyptic failures for a president.
It's true. It is possible that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden got us into this war in the Middle East. Obviously, Russia.
You mean in Ukraine?
Yeah, I call it the Middle East. It's near the Middle East. It's all kind of one area. Turkey is the Middle East. It's right next to
the Middle East of Europe.
Yeah.
And it's like if they went there and did if Hunter went there and then got bribed to go on an energy board for Burisma and then Biden just was like, yeah, let's make some money off this. And then we got into a war. Like, that's the most true, maybe not treason, but like selling out the country for sending the country into a war to make profit.
I think it would be treason. But I guess treason is specifically providing aid to a foreign adversary in a time of war.
I don't think that it's that personal. Like, I don't think when it comes to the war in Ukraine, I think that there's a whole apparatus that is interested in seeing Russia, hurt and seeing, actually just mostly Russia hurt. I think the support from Ukraine comes from the United States saying it is better for our foreign policy to have a weaker Russia. So when Russia decided they wanted to attack Ukraine or invade Ukraine, the U.S. said, we will help Ukraine. We will keep feeding them arms. And essentially it's the same model that we used, or the U.S. used, when the Russians were in Afghanistan, right? So you were feeding arms and ammunition and money to the Mujahideen, and they were fighting Russians. So that way, the Russians would feel the same pain that the U.S. felt when the U.S. was in Vietnam fighting the VC, and that was being funded by the Russians and the Chinese. This is the kind of thing that happens, or has happened regularly since the end of World War II, because the Russians and the U.S. and Russia can't get into an actual confrontation themselves, because it'll likely turn into a nuclear war. These kind of military actions are horrible, and you see, war crimes are being posted on X every day. I just saw one. There's a dude trying to surrender to a drone, and they keep dropping bombs on him because, well, he's the bad guy. Well, that's a war crime. If he's trying to surrender and they keep dropping hand grenades on him to kill him, that's a war crime. And you see this stuff all the time, and it's normal in these kind of it's normal in war, and it really does benefit the U.S. strategically to have Russia engaged in a war and have Russia weakened by having a bunch of people die.
It's gotten so dark, Phil. Like I'll watch these videos and you see the people gathered around the tablet flying this drone, and they're laughing because they're disconnected from the carnage and the chaos they're causing.
To be fair, though, if someone invades the United States, all bets are off.
Sure.
If someone invades your country, like, war crimes are for like people that are in, like, the U.S. when they were in World War II had to worry about war crimes when they were in France, right? Nobody was looking at the French saying you're committing war crimes because you're cutting Nazis' heads off or whatever. Well, the Nazis invaded, that's what happens, and that's what tends to happen in war generally. But it doesn't make it, doesn't make it any less of a war crime.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.